Good evening, race fans, and welcome here to Bark River International Raceway as we're getting ready for the start of this dirt track race. I am Michael Norman alongside Matthew Rodriguez up here. Matt, you've been here watching these trucks for quite a while now. What's the main thing you love about Super Stadium trucks?
I mean, really, it's the amount of air and the difficulty in these trucks. Obviously, they look so easy to race with, but they're not that simple. The Pro 2s obviously are two-wheel drive or very rear-wheel drive vehicles, which allow you to slide them around the corner a lot more, and there's a lot more chance of losing grip in the corners. Obviously, a lot of more of the drivers love the Pro 4s of that all-wheel drive, but me personally, I'm all for the Pro 2s.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what we're starting off with here. Our first race of the evening in these Pro 2 trucks. 15 minutes of racing, and with I guess you could call it a stage break, but with a break right at halfway, Matt. And how does that halfway break come into factor for these trucks during this entire race?
Well, it really teaches these drivers about pacing. Pacing is very important, very key. I mean, here's the thing. You can be the leader. You can have a 5-second lead, but easily you can get that entire lead just taken all away. So that's the big thing for these drivers, just trying to avoid. Now, we saw last week that Cameron Peterson, he put on a clinic both in Pro 2 and Pro 4. Obviously, he's going to be looking for the same thing. He's in a championship battle here. We're not exactly sure of the pinpoint of the points, but we will know by the end before the end of the race.
Yeah, absolutely. As we're watching Josh Edmondson starting on the pole position here tonight with Cameron Peterson in second place, Zachary Drapkin in third, and James Ambrosius in fourth. I'm pretty sure that's how you say his last name. I did my best on that one.
Yes, Ambrosius. It's also worth noting that Edmondson actually hasn't won any races, which, I mean, looking at all of his championship contenders, I mean, anywhere from Drapkin, Peterson, and Barry, they all have more than one win or one or more wins. Edmondson's the only guy on the kind of outside looking in. He's trying to clinch his championship and also get a win here.
Absolutely. Pace truck is in. It's a long ways away from the start here. It looks like these drivers might be still coming to the green flag here. And it looks like they're underway, going hard through the turns. There's 1 and 2 here. There is a good wall right there. We're going to bring the ticker up as we are under.
Edmondson's taking a big charge here. Look at all that air to get off that corner.
Yeah, and it's the one thing I love about these trucks and these tracks.
Look at that.
They just get a heck of a lot of air, and that's got to come into play too. How you take the jumps to keep your car straight without spinning yourself out.
Well, you've got to factor in the big part though, which is, hey, I mean, obviously you want to try and send it in as hard as in the corners as possible, but you're looking at Cameron Peterson here. And Peterson obviously has to take a little bit of caution with this as well.
My goodness.
Obviously, he can get a lot better of corner than Edmondson. And here's the thing. He can hit him and just destroy them both. Obviously, that's not what they want. It's a real risk here.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen it actually happen before. I've seen it personally before. When the car behind you gets a better run, like off of a corner, you take a jump, the car literally lands on top, and that's something you got to be precarious with. As you can see with Peterson now trying to take the inside lane here, it's very difficult to pass in some of these tracks like this because it comes down to the person in front of you making a mistake, and if you lose focus for even just a second, it's going to happen.
I mean, we were talking to Edmondson last week. Edmondson, he came to this knowing that really Cameron Peterson was really tracking him down. He was not letting up, and he pretty much cut his lead all the way down from whenever he joined the series to now, and he knew that whatever happened in this race, he had to finish ahead of him. So he's doing that just right now.
Yeah, he's doing that for now, but Cameron is not backing down. As we're looking further in the back, you got Connor Perry and Brandon Chiramonte. I'm not sure how to say that. So I apologize. For future reference, I apologize if I butcher your last name.
It's Braden Chiramonte.
Chiramonte. Okay, Sheer. Gotta remember that. Apologies.
Like
Once again, apologies, big time apologies from me. I'm so sorry about that. But yeah, we got the battle's going on back here too. It's so difficult to pass here, man.
It looks like Trenton Briley was out the track there. Not exactly sure what got him out of shape.
Looking back at him here, it looks like he's got it collected and isn't going to lose too much ground.
Actually, looks like he may have oversent on one of the corners. That just shows you how dangerous it is with a lot of these jumps where, I mean, a little bit of overconfidence, or it's almost like what we see on dirt tracks or dirt ovals all the time where
He lost
it.
He lost it again right there a little bit. He said.
Edmondson sent it into that jump, landed on two wheels. I almost thought he was going to flip it over.
Yeah, like you said, it's these jumps come into play, Matt. You're all too familiar with these types of trucks. Tell us just how does it handle? Just even on tracks like this, or just in general, just how do these trucks handle?
I mean, have you ever tried just driving an RC boat? I mean,
no,
that's
I
pretty
have
much
not.
how it feels. The steering is very vague. The car is or at least the truck is very floaty. And it's less about, what they train you in other divisions, other cars, other pretty much endurances of racing. They teach you to be as smooth as possible, as little as movements as possible, just be as smooth. With these, you can meet them. Obviously, you want to be smooth, and it's almost like drifting in a way where the last corner or the corner before really has to complement the next corner. It looks like it's messed up a little bit, opening the door for Peterson.
Yeah, it looked like that was going to be a close one. You almost took advantage of it. You got to slide your car. Like you said, this is basically drifting, and we've seen all drift races. It comes down to, oh my goodness. Oh, he messed up. Look at that. Can he save it? He saved it. Wow.
I wonder if...
And Peterson got a little bit lost a lot of momentum there through that corner.
That's what we were talking about earlier, where, listen, the guy behind you can have a better run, and that easily could mess up both yours and his race. Now, I wonder really if the pressure's kind of getting to Josh here, and he knows that he's kind of in a precarious situation here. Right now, he needs to do whatever he can to stay ahead of that 48. But obviously, you can't have an issue like that.
Oh, no.
And now he's currently in recovery mode, but this is exactly what Cameron Peterson wanted to see. After that domination last week, he's looking to almost follow it up here. Now, he needs to have a flawless race again. He has to... Really, the general consensus that we were getting as of last race with the points was really whoever finished highest out of all of the top 5 really championship runners had to really finish ahead of everyone else. So they obviously need to win the race if possible. Obviously, some of the guys 3rd, 4th, 5th, they need to have a little bit of help with some bad runs from top guys. Now, just got the call for caution out, so now we're going to bunch back up the field. And that could be a big, almost a kind of a sigh of relief for Josh Edmondson, I'd say.
Yeah, it would be. He didn't fall that far back. He's only back to the 4th position, so that's a lucky break for him. He was able to get it back going as quickly as he could. But like I said, that could still be a very costly mistake on his part, and for a caution like this to come out now, the question is if he can get back around. We've seen how tough it is to pass here in these corners already without somebody making a mistake.
I mean, here's the thing. Josh, at least I've praised him in previous races, being one of the cleanest drivers I've seen on at least running through here. And I just heard it over to driver's chat. He said he obviously has work to do now. Really, he needs to kind of anticipate the restart, kind of needs to put himself up in the best situation. Now, as we've seen in this track, there isn't as very many passing zones as we would see at places like Crandon, Wild West, Wild Horse. But obviously, there still is ample passing zones, but you have to be careful. I mean, obviously, if you're driving like a madman and everyone else is just trying to hold you off, hold your position, it's going to make it very difficult.
Yes, it very well be. Now, I'm not sure, Matt, is this the halfway caution? Or is this just an actual caution?
The halfway caution, they should be going back green this time, I heard.
All right, that'll give these guys a chance to kind of catch their breath here. We've talked to some of them, to these drivers before, and they have all talked about just the mentality you have to stay focused. And for some people, it's harder to do than others, just to kind of stay focused, keep your car in one piece here, just because with one slight mistake, and it could all go south. But you got with Cameron Peterson, that accident helped him a lot. Probably calmed him down more than he probably would have at the start, because now that he has the lead, all he has to do focus now is to just keep the car behind him, and hit all of his marks.
Now, honestly, the person I'm looking to gain the most from this, and probably is kind of licking his lips right now at the moment is Zachary Drabkin. Drabkin obviously comes into this race, at least in our standings, before the drop week is factored in. Fourth in points, 35 points, about five back from Edmondson, but also 2 away from Peterson. So obviously that's really coming in the factor of those 2 are very close in points. Obviously he wants to finish ahead of Peterson to set himself up in the best situation to possibly get this title.
Yeah, and it's if he can do that, it's going to be best to him, as it looks like we're going back up to speed here. We're back under the green flag as we have about 7 minutes left.
Oh, and Ambrosius got shoved a little bit wide by Drabkin there. Edmondson's currently working on Ambrosius.
Yeah, now we got like you said, it was a very good break for Drabkin. He's just sitting there licking his lips here. Now he's in second place. Now the question is, can he reel in the leader and pass him in these final 6.5 minutes?
Now here's obviously I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Edmondson can reasonably, maybe if he finishes second, still have a theoretical shot for the title. But you got to factor in, obviously he doesn't want that to really be a kind of a coin toss. Obviously the best surefire way to guarantee himself, really the best shot at the title is making sure you finish ahead of Peterson. If Peterson's behind you, that means you've got a fairly good shot. If you finish right behind Peterson and Peterson wins, that makes your championship scenario a lot more complex.
Yeah, absolutely. And our race. Oh, look at him right now. Ooh, that's not the kind of mistakes he needs. He's taking these corners real easy, but Drabkin now losing it. He didn't get through that corner all too well. Now he's going to lose the lead, lose second place to Josh Edmondson, who's worked his way from fourth now up to second.
I mean, we were talking with Edmondson last week, and he really mentioned that, obviously he knew that they really missed the mark. I mean, obviously with Peterson dominating both the Pro 2 and Pro 4 races, I mean, that set a precedent of how dominant he was. So he really came out here, said he was going to practice, and I think he really did just that ever since the started when the track was dropped and released on iRacing.
Now, and this is a question I want to ask you, Matt, because like I said, you're pretty known for these trucks. You have a lot of fun driving these types of trucks. Which, in your opinion, is the hardest to drive, Pro 2s or Pro 4s?
A lot of drivers will say Pro 2s are actually more difficult to drive just because, I mean, obviously you have the front end not really doing anything. The back end's really just pushing these cars, makes it very easy to overdrive them, kind of spin them and park them in the middle of the corner. They like the Pro 4s to have them drag pretty much the entire car. It's almost like a rallycross car with bigger suspension. You throw it into a corner, you just tell it where to go and keep on the throttle and it will pull itself out. Personally, to me, I always prefer the Pro 2 because I like sliding around a little bit. It really shows drivers' skill. I mean, it really shows without aids how quick these drivers are in just a straight up, full body pro truck with just the engine and rear wheel drive.
A bit of breaking news here. It looks like we got, I think, 2 trucks have retired out of this race. One of them being Zachary Drabkin.
Yeah, obviously, I'm going to go ahead and take a look back and see if I can find out what happened to Drabkin here. It looks like maybe the reason we have multiple cars out, it looks like Drabkin may have made contact with Ambrosius. That actually spun Ambrosius around. That's why he's currently running in P11. But that actually wasn't the reason that he was out. It actually looks like he may have had some connection issues.
That's not good. Also, this 73 of Braden is out as well.
Absolutely. Now, here's the big question. I think this is the burning question in everyone's mind is really if Edmondson can see if he can maybe track down Peterson. That's the thing where I'm looking at Josh here, and Josh is really trying to just overdrive his car. And that's the big thing where he needs to, there has to be the guy in his ear to tell him, hey, settle down. I mean, really him being there is probably putting pressure on the 48 saying, hey, I mean, I've got the 58 trying to keep me honest here.
Yeah, absolutely. He's not really gained too much. He's about a second and a half behind him, but just him being in the mirror in Cameron's mirror itself is probably giving him a little bit of the heebie-jeebies there. And he's keeping a strong focus. So credit to him for being able to stay focused like that. We're under 3 minutes to go, so I wonder if any of the pressure maybe could be setting in here soon for Cameron Peterson. But I think he works well under pressure after having such a dominant run last week.
See, that's the big thing where Edmondson's kind of working at a disadvantage here. Edmondson, he really needed a good run here, and he really got off to a very good start with him being on pole. But I mean, obviously mistakes, and that just shows you how much just a little mistake can really kind of create. As it looks like Drabkin managed to re-enter the server, but obviously that kind of eliminates any of his championship hopes.
Yeah, absolutely. He's 2 laps down now to the race leader, and just, you know, as e-racer, that's got to be heartbreaking. You know, you come on to have such a great time, and stuff like this happens, and it's really just out of your control.
I mean, here's the thing. I mean, if you come in even with a theoretical shot, I mean, you may play it down in interviews and talking to people all week, but obviously you're playing out those fantasy scenarios in your head where, I mean, you make up the difference. Bad luck happens, fortune falls right into your hands, and obviously that has the possibility to happen in races. But nothing breaks your heart more than hey, think about it all week and putting in the time, putting in the practice, learning the track, spending hard-earned hours on the sim, getting better, and then obviously having it taken away via either connection issues or that kind of scenarios outside of your control.
Yeah, I think that's really the most heartbreaking. We're down to about our final 66 seconds left in the Pro 2 truck race itself. This could theoretically be 2 laps to go, roughly. And
just about.
Yeah, just about 2 laps to go. And Cameron Peterson are keeping an eye here on Edmondson. Keeping an eye run on him right now. We can ride on his roll bar here, just as you see him just working.
I just looked at Cole Ashlock's car. What in the world happened to that thing? It doesn't have a right rear panel. Every panel on that car has been in.
He's probably slapped it off the wall a couple times here. Look at just how he's sliding out there. See, he's having fun. That's really the most important thing in sim racing and e-racing like this, is just going out there and having a great time with friends. Regardless of what happens, but he's just having fun. He's running actually in the 6th position, so that's not too bad of a run for him.
Looking at this here, obviously looking at Cameron Peterson, I didn't want to mention it, but it looks like it's pretty much all dissipated now. Edmondson really started to make a run on Peterson, got in about 1.6 seconds of him, and unfortunately looks like he just fell off. But obviously this puts Josh in a little bit more of a difficult situation, because obviously we don't know exactly how the drop week is going to work. We don't know how it's going to affect the points. And obviously Cameron Peterson, he put himself in the best position for success tonight, obviously getting up there. And, right now it looks like he's going to be taking the race victory here.
Yeah, I was just keeping an eye on it now. I was going to say the time is up. The checkered flag is out, and it looks like Cameron Peterson's going to come across the line and take his... I'm not sure what was it, his 3rd victory or 2nd victory?
Should be his 3rd victory of the season, and that really kind of nails home the fact that we maybe not mentioned this too much, but how much dominance that Peterson has had, not only in the Pro 2s but also the Pro 4s. That I think he fully locked up the Pro 4 championship last week. Yes, it actually looks like he fully locked up the Pro 4 championship last week with his victory, and obviously looking at his dominance here in the pros, I definitely expect that to transfer over to the Pro 4s. Absolutely.
Well, our top 3 finishers in Pro 2s right now: Cameron Peterson, Josh Edmondson, and Luke. I believe that's Knupp. Is that how you say it?
No. And obviously that's a really impressive finish for Knupp. Obviously, because he's had an average start of about 11th. Average finish about 8th. There's nothing really remarkable to kind of say about his season here in the Pro 2s, but obviously having that strong finish gives you momentum going into next season.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, the boards later tonight.
Yeah, so absolutely. We're getting ready for the Pro truck race, Pro 4 truck race now, and I don't know, Matt. Do we have anybody ready here for us? Yes, we do.
I believe we do. Let's go ahead. Looking up here for a minute, but I believe he's still trying to get in. So let's go ahead and pull our 2nd place finisher, Josh Edmondson, here.
Hey, Josh, it's Michael and Matt up in the booth. You got us?
I do.
Hey, man, we'll talk about this whole race here in general. One mistake early on and it lost you the lead, but you were able to battle back to second place. Tell us about that and what happened.
Yeah. Unfortunately, made a big mistake while leading and gave it away. Fell back to fourth, and just never able to get back in striking distance of Cam. So, congratulations to him. That's you can't mess up when you're racing against Cam. Any mistake like that, and he's just gonna walk away from you, or at least keep you at bay like he did. So yeah, unfortunately, that was kind of a bummer. It was good to qualify on pole and then lead some laps. I know I needed to beat him to win the championship, so I was just giving it all I had. But yeah, unfortunately, came up a little short.
Currently, I'm not exactly sure because I was told pre-race that the standings weren't final and that drop weeks may be factored in. But I mean, obviously, that mistake was that almost just trying too hard, or maybe just kind of the pressure.
Possibly, I don't know. I mean, I know, obviously I knew with the drop weeks and everything, I think we were actually tied in points. So it was like a winner take all situation. So I knew I had to keep the pace up. But it was just a little mistake. I got a little sideways on the first entry whoop, and then, you just kind of tank slap and I spun. It's unfortunately thing I've done in that section a few times. I tried to make it right, but yeah, it just happened at the wrong time.
Yeah, it seemed like I mean, and you even battled back too, so you had a really good truck out there. At this time, we're going to turn it over to you, and you and thank anybody you need to.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to shout out you guys for putting on the broadcast. Look forward to go back and watching it. And then, Drew for putting on such a good league with, so many good guys showing up and battling it out. It's fun. Shout out to Cam too, my teammate. We grinded some sessions here and got our trucks up to pace and obviously had a little bit on everybody. And that was kind of cool to see, the team go 1-2. So yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy. So shout out to Jim Beaver Esports, Fistful of Bourbon, Winners Get Whiskey, and General Tire, Rigid Industries, Dirtfish, GSP, XTV Axles, Acronis, Vision Wheels, Gibson Performance, and Chris Leone's Motorsport Drop.
Now, Josh, I know you might be wanting to go into that whiskey already, but we still got one more event tonight. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. I believe I've got my good bet. I believe we'll be talking to you once more tonight.
Oh, we're going to try, hopefully.
That's Josh Edmondson. We'll go ahead and we'll pull in our third place finisher here, Luke Nupp.
Hey, Luke, it's Michael and Matt up in the booth. You got us?
Yeah.
Hey, man, it was a pretty solid race for you up there. You saw the mistakes early on up in the front. You ran your race pretty good. Finished third place. Tell us about it, man. How do you feel?
It was a good race. Kind of just let the incidents happen in front of me. I knew it was going to be a long race with a bunch of action all along, and saw a couple of openings and took it. And I definitely learned a lot out there. I saw my times improving a bunch. So that definitely was a fun race.
So let me pick your brain here a little bit about the track, because that's the big question that we have here at the moment. So with the track, obviously having those giant jumps, and we saw multiple trucks kind of fall victim to maybe sending the corner just a little bit too hard, maybe just being a little bit too involved. Do you notice any issues like that?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of spots that can happen. Especially the whoop section. It's a kind of like tight, like action-packed section where you just jump into the next one, and it definitely upsets these low-powered trucks. And that's definitely you got to set your truck up for that, and also the S turn, you got to be careful through there. But other than that, it's a pretty fun track to drive these trucks on. Uh, um, they definitely came better at the beginning, and then kind of slicked off towards the end. So it definitely made for some tough racing.
All right, man. Good job on your third place finish. We're going to turn the mic over to you, and you can go ahead and shout out anybody you need to.
Yeah, I want to thank Rocket Racing Setups, Ultra Motorsports, Rigid Industries, Diamondback Materials, Geyser Bros, Key and Swain for making this awesome setup, and then the whole series for putting this on, and then you guys for broadcasting. Thank you guys.
Well, Luke, that was a really strong run out there. I don't know if you're going to be running Pro 4s of us, but I'm definitely looking forward, if you are, seeing if you can do the back-to-back.
I don't think I'll be able to. I'm actually heading over to someone's house real quick, so I don't think I'll be able to make it. But hopefully you make it for the next season.
Absolutely. Well, we'll definitely look forward to it. Strong run out there tonight. Wish you the best of luck for next season.
Thanks, guys.
Let's go ahead and pull in our race winner here, Cam Peterson.
Hey, Cam, it's Mike and Matt up here in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, loud and clear.
There you go. Man, you had a very fun race. Started second, kind of ran there for a little bit. Just what went through your mind when you saw Josh make that one mistake that allowed you to get by him?
Oh yeah, I kind of have my own race to worry about in a way. Those whoops are deadly. They've caught me in the same way, caught Josh there many times in practice and other races as well. So something that's going to have to be worked on by probably the both of us, to be honest. Yeah, I thought it was going to be all about consistency. I think if Josh were to get ahead of me, or if I were to get ahead of Josh, there's usually not ever passing, because I think we're just at a level where it's all about consistency rather than just pure speed. So yeah, I mean, he's my teammate at the end of the day. I'm not looking forward to him, spinning out or nothing like that. But like I said, it's bit me before. It can happen to anyone, and it didn't happen to me. I guess that's how it played out.
So obviously, Cam, I first all apologize because I think I butchered your last name once more. But
That's okay.
the second off, obviously, with the unfortunate kind of, I'd say almost a full send from Josh in that corner, but obviously opened up the opportunity for you to get the lead. I mean, was that the moment that you knew that, hey, I mean, if I can take the lead from him, I can drive away?
Yeah, I kind of go back to my main point there about us being so similar in terms of speed. It was going to be about consistency. And I think Josh was the faster driver today. You can see that in the qualifying time. But I knew it was going to be a tall order if Josh didn't, if nothing happened to Josh. But after that, I was just focusing on mostly those whoops again and that tabletop going into the last corner. Like, they're pretty deadly corners, and you can lose a lot of time, not even spin out. So it's a pretty treacherous track, and just kind of take each corner at a time, and try not to mirror drive too much, because as long as you're in the fast line, no one's gonna be passing you. So just try to hold my line, be smooth, be quick, and stay calm.
All right, man, we're going to turn the mic over to you. Shout out anybody you need to, man. You put on a heck of a show.
Yeah, you guys for putting all this on. Looking forward to watching the broadcast over again. Teammate Josh for working on setups with me and getting faster with me. And all the guys on the Beaver Esports team. Fistful of Bourbon, Winners Get Whiskey, General Tire, Polaris Razor, Vision Wheel, Rigid Industries, Dirtfish, GSP XTP Axles, Gibson Performance Exhaust, Cronus, Saint Racing Fabrication, 07 Design by Matt Eberhardt, and Chris Leone's Motorsport Drop.
Alrighty, Cam. Well, obviously, I know you may want to pop the champagne already, but there's still one race left here tonight, and I've got a good feeling that you may place well in that race. So I will look forward to talking to you later.
Yeah, hopefully. Thanks.
All right, and Matt, well, we're going to go ahead and take a quick intermission in between sessions here, and we'll be back here shortly with the Pro 4 trucks. And welcome back to Bark River International Raceway as we're getting set for Pro 4 Truck Series action here. I'm Michael Norman, joined by Matthew Rodriguez. And Matt, now we're talking about some real power. You were talking about it during the last race. These trucks a little more powerful around this racetrack. What are your thoughts?
Well, Pro 4s are really the big step up from Pro 2s. I mean, we heard, I believe some drivers talk about it in the last race where, I mean, obviously Pro 2s are a bit underpowered and obviously only rear-wheel drive. And while it does cater to a few drivers' skill sets, obviously in Pro 4, it kind of, at least in my opinion, kind of lessens that skill gap. Since the grip and the traction that the four-wheel drive provides definitely aids a lot. And by doing this, it adds a lot of power.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to see as these trucks get on the racetrack here. They're already getting going. We got some cars running this time that we didn't see last time, like Hunter Carpenter. He was in the race for the previous one, but just didn't get on the racetrack. But here he is now. So we got another 15 minutes of racing with one caution at halfway, waiting for the pace truck to dive in. Same racetrack, same bump, same concept. And Matt, if we see them racing like they were during practice here, we're going to be in for some interesting racing.
Now, we were talking about it, I believe, last race, where pretty much Cameron Peterson has pretty much locked up his championship. Really, he's just kind of going out here for fun. Obviously, does that change the mindset in the field where, I mean, really a championship isn't on the line here. You're just kind of fighting for pride and seeing who's going to win on this track.
Yeah, and that's what's going to come down to, pride and just focus.
Hey, I can send it in deeper than you.
Well, anyways.
You want to test that?
Anyways, so Matt, as we're coming into the green here, do you got your eye on somebody in particular for this?
I mean, obviously, the perennial favorite has to be Cameron Peterson. Obviously, just due to it seems like almost the skill and the experience in these cars. But obviously, there's a few guys that I've kind of got my eye on. Drabkin may actually be one of them here, as it looks like he gets off to a very good start.
Absolutely. Green flag is out, and we are already here going good at second place. Now, Connor Berry.
Oh!
Right on his back bumper.
Drabkin!
What?
There's a wreck in the back. Drabkin was in the air.
Trying to look back here to see if we can I can find him.
Looks
here.
like Drabkin may have been out on the server, but it looks like Connor Berry oversends the car. There's multiple cars flipping.
Oh, there's a lot of cars and a lot of cars involved back here. Connor Berry is one of them. He was just running second place.
I laughed. You see Connor Berry go over, and then you've got the this guy. Take a look here. Hunter
Carpenter also in there too, as our scoring pylon's going a little wacky here with all the wrecks and everything that's happening here, but that was incredible.
Hunter Carpenter saw Barry just send it off and said, "Hey, I can do that too." Obviously, that opens it up a little bit for Peterson. Peterson's got a little bit of breathing room, but you see Ambrosius and Edmondson there. Edmondson, obviously, he's going to be trying to get a little bit of redemption for last race. But Ambrosius is kind of a new name up here. He's been poking his nose around. Hopefully, maybe he can. He's trying to search for some good luck here to end the season.
Absolutely, here as we're gonna bring up here the battle for second. Only half of a second gap between second and third place right now, and that's still close enough to make a mistake here. But they can't let Cameron get too far out of a lead. I mean, we know that they have a caution coming out here at halfway that'll bunch them back up. But now is really a time to kind of breathe down Peterson's neck, kind of show him like, hey, I've got something for you. I just need to make my move at the right time.
Absolutely. And just looking throughout the field here, really noticing the closest battle on track has to be with Chase Carr and James Burke. Both these guys haven't had very good seasons. It looks like James Burke is actually going on the pit road here now, maybe trying to repair some damage. Going back up to the front, looks like Edmondson's still trying to go on the attack for Ambrosius.
Yeah, keeping an eye on the battle here. They're just letting the leader kind of pull away. I guess they figure, okay, well, we'll have at least another shot at it when the halfway caution comes out. So,
I mean, obviously looking at what Edmondson was able to pull off, and obviously the dominance of Peterson, track position does matter. And a lot of these drivers obviously took notice of that and saying, hey, if I can make anything happen on track without having to rely on a restart or rely on a caution, obviously they're going to try and make these moves now.
Yeah, absolutely. Keeping an eye on the battle here. Things are kind of starting to settle out now. Look who's in fourth place right now. That's Gary Green up here. This is another close battle between him and Christopher Plumley back here. Real close.
And that's the thing. We're going back into that territory where, again, if you're battling that hard, as you see, it looks like Green attacked that quarter just a little bit too much. I think Plumley might have the same issue. A lot of these guys are just, this is really the common issue in dirt racing is, hey, either trying to attack too much or attacking too early and end up jeopardizing your exit. So that's the main thing we saw there, where Green really attacked the entry of the corner but kind of parked it in the middle of the exit, where Plumley had a great entry but a kind of a middle section and a terrible exit off.
He's keeping an eye on the battle here, and that's really difficult, honestly. You know, it's all about attacking these corners. You're the one who said you could dive it down deeper than anybody here. So, Mr. Experience in these race cars, what is it that you would have to do if you were Plumley right now just trying to catch up to Green?
To be honest, rhythm. Rhythm is the best. I mean, here's the thing. Rhythm is the best cure for all this. Where, yes, I mean, here's the thing. Rhythm will not always land you those fast laps. It won't always land you, those spectacular moves, but it will aid you against, obviously, a car like Green here, where Green hasn't been that consistent all these laps, where he's taking different entries, he's taking different lines in all these corners. If you could just run one consistent line and have that one consistent lap time, you could beat someone like Green, Edmondson, some of these drivers who are just really dancing around the track and don't have a solid line.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we are approaching about that caution period here. I think in roughly about another minute or so. We might be seeing about another minute or so. We might be seeing this caution come out.
Obviously, looking at this here, looks like Green got the wall just a little bit, but still looking up front. Edmondson started to close the gap a little bit on Ambrosius. Ambrosius sent it a little bit much in that drop. It looks like he got a little bit with the back end. Definitely kind of opens up the door a little bit more for Edmondson here.
Yeah, keeping an eye out. Battle up here. Yeah, Ambrosius up here. That Edmondson really closing in. We talked to him post race in Pro 2, and he seemed to, I don't really want to say seemed a little defeated, but he was, he put a great effort to coming back after that one mistake. So now with that mistake in the last race being in mind, that's going to be probably in the back of his mind now as he's just trying to focus to get second place.
I mean, obviously, hey, at the end of the day, it's still great that it's a team win. Because like I said, I've been in that situation before where it's, hey, it sucks that I didn't pull off the win, but I mean, it is great for the team. But obviously, there's has to be that little chip on your shoulder that really wants to go out and, kind of show people up saying, hey, I mean, listen, I still got this. I can go faster. Watch this.
Yeah, absolutely. Battle for second place up here, still roughly about half a second between them. Keeping it going while our race leader has really just pulled away.
That's the thing where that's what Cam's been so good at all season, was really just getting in his rhythm and just taking off and setting sail. And that's why I say these cautions have really been a detriment to him, because he gets himself into a rhythm and that caution just brings all races away. But that's what we talk about pacing. You don't want to use up all your stuff here in the original go. You want to save a little bit left for that second. And also, hey, yes, you're going to end up losing that lead, but Cam doesn't let that, get the best of him. He kind of keeps his spirits up, kind of keeps confidence up and says, all right, I mean, if you guys want to throw a caution, get back to me, all right, I'll do it again.
Yeah, the gap is about almost 4 seconds now between first and second, and I'm surprised we haven't seen that halfway caution called yet.
So it looks like there's some good battle here in the back with Trenton Riley and Connor Berry here. It looks like it also may include Chase Carr here in a minute if Carr slips up any more.
He kind of did right there, got a little high.
Now, obviously, this just kind of shows you there's battles all throughout the field with different strategies. It looks like a lot of these drivers out of that corner have really been attacking that banking And it looks
Oh!
like Barry and Carr tagged the wall as well as Trenton.
They all tagged the wall off of that corner.
And caution is out, so it looks like we're going to be pacing here. Now this is our regular scheduled mid-race caution. So we'll go ahead and restack them back up and go ahead and get them ready to go.
Yep, restack them back up, get ready for the second half of second half of this race.
Thank you, my tape recorder.
Yes, exactly. See when you do that, it makes me laugh on the inside, and then I just end up forgetting exactly what all I'm talking about.
Oh, don't worry, I'm already seeing the Michael Jordan crying face. It's fine.
we got the one wave around there.
Now, obviously, this kind of puts a big emphasis on Ambrosius, where Ambrosius is obviously going to be trying to look for a very aggressive start here, trying to get a little bit of advantage on Cam. Obviously, this also opens up the door for Edmondson, Green, Plumlee, Barry, Carr, a lot of these guys back in the pack, where here's the thing, maybe normally they'd be a little bit conservative in this race, but really the championship's decided. You think anyone's going to send it, or everyone's going to kind of stay courteous here?
Well, we're in the second half of the race, so I think courteous might be a little bit out the window here, but I guess it really depends. But in my honest opinion, I feel like we're going to see some people maybe send it off at the beginning to try to get that run, especially maybe Ambrosius, because he wants to try to get as good of an advantage as he can. And but we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, I mean, I can see it as well. So it's really going to come down to when and how good of a restart did they get.
Let's see. Here's the thing. If I'm Ambrosius, I'm going for broke here. I mean, right now, Cam has pretty much demonstrated what it shows to have him in the front of the field and having clean air. So my whole thing is, as long as I can get side him, I can kind of get right on his bumper. I can kind of make him think, "Hey, I'm here," and get
really slowing down. They're really slowing down. They're running into each other here. Leaders bringing them down really slowly.
Yeah, I believe it was a call from race control just to slow down a little bit to make sure everyone was still back for the pack. I believe Hunter Carpenter is still trying to catch his lap back here at the end of the field.
Well, that should put everybody back on the lead lap.
All right, we just got confirmation green this time, so normal pace speed is back up.
Yep. Should be going back racing here soon. I believe they're coming off the corner where the line is, so we'll have to wait and see. And the race leader gets going.
Peterson gets a great start. Ambrosius got caught sleeping a little bit. It looks like Trenton Riley may have ran into the back of, or at least by maybe Carr maybe hit him. It looks like Trenton overshot the corner just a little bit, but Ambrosius still on the attack in the front of the field.
Yeah. He's pulled away a little bit, but Peterson pulled away, and then James Ambrosius they're still staying. Wow, this height. I love these camera angles. It shows you just how much these drivers pass over the hill there, especially that one right there.
That's the big thing where you may not think about it, but again, they really have to navigate these jumps multiple times during this race, and that can really kill the car, or at least kill your momentum if you're not thinking about it. We saw it last race from Edmondson, where Edmondson sent it just a little bit too deep into the corner and just got the car way unsettled, at least outside of what he was used to dealing with. That could be a result of sending it a little bit too hard or pushing a little bit too hard. So obviously everyone's trying to keep this consistent pace.
Yeah, keeping it consistent. We have a battle here for second place again, really heating up. And for fourth, I guess you could say third and fourth place back here as well. As Gary Green up here, Connor Berry, he's made a heck of a recovery for him. Remember, he was involved in the wreck early on, and here he is back up here in the 5th position. So, you can't really count a lot of people out, especially when they were running up second place when they get taken out.
To be honest, the best piece of advice that I have for most of these drivers here at the moment, looks like Barry gets in the green, is really just drive within your ability. Here's the thing, if you're pushing and you're trying to push the car more than what you're comfortable with, I mean, obviously you're going to get the results that you expect. I mean, obviously you're going to push too hard, you're going to hit something, and here's the thing, it could end very badly, and that could easily take you out your good run here. Drive the car within your ability, don't push excessively, and you'll get a good finish. Now, obviously, it may not be that win that you want, but at least it's a result that you can take and build upon.
building upon is you're definitely right. They're going through these corners again. Just tell us, how hard is it, mentally to set yourself up for the next couple of corners? You got one tight left-hander.
Oh, Barry gets into the grass.
Oh yeah, I saw that too. And that's another thing too. You got to take these corners perfectly. One little slip up, and you go on the grass, you're going to cost yourself momentum. How frustrating is that as a driver when you go to a corner, realize you didn't get it in right, and you lose all your momentum?
I said I kind of factor these cars, or at least these trucks, to a little bit of an endurance race, where if you're doing the let's say the 6 hours at the Glen or the 24 hours of Le Mans, even, you got to factor that in. Where, I mean, here's the thing: every lap is not about hitting your fastest lap. Every lap is about being consistent, limiting mistakes, not getting damage to the car. And that's a big thing. It looks like Barry gives Green a shot there. But that's the big thing where you got to limit damage. You've got to be consistent and stay clean. Here's the thing: you're not going to, as they continue to beat and bang, but you're not going to end up winning a race with a beat-up race car. You're going to need as much help as you can. And here's the thing: you can't get it all in one lap. You got to consistently work at this.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh,
it's like Green and Barry still.
Yeah,
Barry's beating and banging here.
I'm keeping the camera focused on these two. This is where the action's at right here. They're trying. I think he's going to be able to. Oh, that's a slide job, but he's going to get them right back at the crossover. Still making contact with one another. That's going to bring Christopher into this mess as well.
That's a big thing where it looks like these guys are really pushing right now, and that's kind of what you want as at least as a third driver. Third driver back there, as you see Barry get a little bit of air. But that's what I'm going to tell you. Christopher Plumley is loving right now, is seeing this 28 and 920 just battling here. That's exactly what he wants to see, because those two battling will get at least one of them really off lane and may force the other off lane. That lets Christopher Plumley keep running his lane, catch up to the both of them, and say, hey, I can throw my hat in this competition now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, the top two with Edmondson and Ambrosius, they're loving this as Barry gets into the green a little bit.
He clipped the grass and about flipped his car over there. I told you I'm keeping the camera on this racing action for a while. We are on the last lap. Also, as we were watching this, the time has run out. So this is, the final lap, and this is a battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th. Excuse me.
And as we say almost every race, I mean, we understate it, but Cameron Peterson has, again, put on a clinic here. He's really shown, again, just consistency and knowledge of the track. Like I said, we heard him earlier. He practiced this week. He got used to this track, as it looks like he passes the start-finish line. I could be incorrect.
Yep. Yeah, I believe he passed the start-finish line, and I believe Cameron Peterson has officially won the second race of the night.
And that's the thing where I believe he may have actually gone back-to-back of the championship here. But you got to ask about just kind of domination and guys who are really putting in the effort. That's kind of the thing where these guys, they put in so much effort to learn these tracks. Again, Bark River just came out about last week. A lot of these guys have really been grinding this track and learning the ins and outs. And just the fact that they're able to put in this level of domination, this level of familiarity of the track with just that amount of practice is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. As you see him celebrating here, top three: Cameron Peterson, James Ambro. Oh my gosh! Well, our leader, our race winner, is upside down now. Josh Edmondson rounds out third, Christopher Plumley fourth, Connor Berry fifth, Gary Green sixth, Chase Carr seventh, Zachary Drapkin eighth, Nathan Mack. I'm not how to say it. Mock, something like that. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. In ninth, and Hunter Carpenter.
You should just pick a number.
Yeah, I should. Listen, it's better to try than not. All right, so.
But I will have to say the big kind of feel-good story, at least of the season, has to be Ambrosius here. Ambrosius, again, it's kind of like Nup here last race, where Nup didn't really have any great stats here in the beginning and the mid part of the season, and really finished off on a high note. And this is just some kind of momentum you can take the next season.
Absolutely. Well, these drivers are off track here. Matt, do we have them ready for interviews?
I believe so. Let's go ahead and pull our third place finisher, Josh Edmondson.
Hey, Josh, it's Mike and Matt up in the booth. You got us again, man?
Hey, I do.
Man, third place on that one. That was a little more wild and crazy than the Pro 2s there. Talk to us about your race.
Yeah, that one was a lot harder. I had a really poor qualifying effort, so starting behind some guys there. I got a little lucky with some carnage. Got a little damage from it though. Unfortunately, I think it might have slowed me down just a little bit, but I don't know if I could have got around James. He was driving super solid, not making any mistakes. So hats off to him. And then Cam, of course, up front, did what he did all season here in the Pro 4s and just dominate. So overall, I'm happy with the third place. I think that wraps up second in the championship for me too. So I'll take that. Our team going 1-2 again is always cool. So.
Well, I probably should bring this up. You talk about chaos, and there is no shortage of it. We saw Drabkin take flight. We also saw some guys behind you beating and banging. Were you any bit of concerned of that? Or, I mean, obviously with the track, there's multiple cars kind of flipping over in certain turns. Or is it almost a tight, kind of a tightrope to walk?
It is for sure. These Pro 4 trucks on this track is really technical. And it's really hard to race side by side in a few sections there with the switchbacks and stuff. So I was definitely a little concerned about that, trying to leave room where I could and try and stay out of it. And yeah, I saw Zach flipping there. That's unfortunate for him. I know him and I and Connor were in a pretty tight championship battle there for a second. So, it sucks to see it happen like that. But it's part of racing, and you just got to stay out of those things. And unfortunately for him, and he didn't tonight. So.
All right, man. Well, that was a good third place run for you. We're gonna turn the camera over to turn the microphone over to
right,
you,
buddy.
and we'll turn the microphone over to you, and you can shout out anybody you need to.
Yeah, shout out for you guys again. Putting on this broadcast is awesome to go back and watch it. Drew for putting on a league, and Rigid Industries being a sponsor is really cool. They're a sponsor of our team as well. So it's cool to see the industry stepping in here and putting on a good show. So also shout out to the Jim Beaver Esports team. Fistful of Bourbon, Winners Get Whiskey, General Tire, Polaris Razor, Rigid Industries, Vision Wheels, GSP XTV Axles, Gibson Performance, Cronus, Chris Leone's Motorsport Drop, and just everybody else. It was a lot of fun.
Well, Josh, I definitely had a strong run here tonight in both races. Obviously, that gives you a little bit of momentum to take the next season. I hope to see you back.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it.
All right, that was our third place finisher. Let's go ahead and get our second place finisher, James Ambrosius, up here. Hey, James, it's Mike and Matt. Mike and Matt up here in the booth. You got us?
I got you guys. How you doing?
Doing all right, man. You got a good second place finish there. Was there anything different you could have done to be able to run down the leader like that?
Nah, it's hard. Cam's always on top of his game, and he makes very minimal mistakes. So it's a matter of just trying to keep the pressure on him and trying to stay there and stay in his mirror. Try to force the pressure, but he does a good job. He's hard to shake, and credit to him for holding it.
I mean, James, I got to ask, is this kind of a breath of fresh air here?
Yeah, it's nice making it up on the box. I was earlier on in the season, but we didn't broadcast that race. So that was my one opportunity to talk to you guys, but it didn't work out that night. It's pretty neat being up here. I've been knocking on the door a few races here and there, and it just hasn't really fallen my way. But yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, man, you had a heck of a good performance out there. I'm going to turn the microphone over to you. Go ahead and do any shout-outs and thank anybody you need to.
Yeah, first and foremost, I just want to thank my wife. She's the one that lets me put the time and effort in and learning some of these setups. And
I know that feel.
No, credit to her. She's actually at work right now. So I appreciate her letting me put the time and effort in, like I said. My brother Jake's watching. I just want to give him a hello and appreciate him watching. Other than that, don't really have a team or anything like that. I just do it for fun and do my best. And I do want to say I apologize to Zach. I'm not sure. I know he was a little upset there from lap 1. He kind of had a blinking issue, and I was inside of his truck, literally overlaying. I didn't mean to put him around or anything like that. It was just unfortunate the way it played out. So just want to let that be known.
Yeah, I believe I saw Drabkin go space shuttle status. But obviously, this is a great run for you. I really hope that you take this momentum next season and kind of take it to him.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you guys for broadcasting. I appreciate Drew putting the time and effort in and making this league what it is. So thanks, guys.
That was our second place finisher, James Ambrosius. Now let's go ahead and pull in the man of the night, guy who swept both races, Cameron Peterson here.
Hey, Cam, it's Mike and Matt up in the booth. You got us?
Yes, sir.
Man, I'm experiencing some serious deja vu here. So tell us about that race, man. It went pretty much coast to coast. Started on pole and took off from it from there. So talk to us. How was that race?
Yeah, I thought Connor was going to be on my tail that whole race, but I didn't see what happened to him. I had to go back and watch it. I know he got caught in some trouble. I know he's really quick. He's always quick. And, so yeah, that was sad to see. I wanted to have a good fought battle here in the last race. But I mean, I'll take the win regardless. Yeah, I guess just just like that Pro 2 race, just hit the marks, be smooth. Like for me personally, after driving those Pro 2s, these Pro 4s they're so much easier to drive. You just turn them and they go, and so it was a lot easier to hit my marks after warming up in the Pro 2s. Yeah, just cool, calm, collective as I try to be, and yeah, made it up on top.
See, I almost gonna have to ask you about that almost easier to drive question, because we had I believe almost the previous two guys in here. They said the cars were almost more difficult to drive, and you kind of had to be a little bit more conservative in some corners.
Yeah, I don't think that. I mean, obviously you do have to slow down because these trucks are quicker, but in terms of actually grasping and understanding and transferring over from one truck to the other, going from Pro 2 to Pro 4, like that, I like that a lot. That it does seem to make it easier for me at least. So I don't know. I can't speak for other people, but if this is Pro 2 then Pro 4, I'd definitely have it this way rather than the other. But yeah, I just try to adhere to the changes as quick as possible, and try to forget everything about the Pro 2 in a way, and then you're hopping into Pro 4. It's a completely different truck, and you just gotta it's like hitting the refresh button, so to speak.
Almost kind of have to be ready to perform no matter what.
Exactly. It's usually just one qualifying lap, and then that's kind of your warm up lap, and you do another one, and that's your heater. So, yeah, I think it's just getting into a rhythm as quick as possible and not overthinking anything.
All right, man. Well, you had a heck of a good run, and good to see you back in victory lane. Gonna turn the mic over to you and let yourself thank anybody you need to. Give your shout outs.
Doing all right there, buddy?
I'm only having a small stroke. It's okay.
It's all right.
I'll check up on you later. Yeah, no, obviously, thanks to you guys again. I always look forward to watching these replays and, having family and friends being able to watch this, back and live is pretty cool for me. So, thank you guys. Thanks for Drew for putting all this on. I know he sacrifices a lot of time, and, hats off to him. The guys on the Jim Beaver Esports team, General Tire, Fistful of Bourbon, Winners Get Whiskey, Polaris Razor, Vision Wheel, Rigid Industries, Dirtfish, GSP, XTB Axles, Gibson Performance Exhaust, Acronis, Saint Racing Fabrication, 07 Designs by Matt Eberhardt, and Chris Leone's Motorsport Drop, and all my friends and family for watching the live stream tonight.
All right, man. Well, congratulations on the win. And
the championship.
Yeah, and the championship, dude.
Because you pretty much took that very handily.
Yeah, double whammy on that one.
Yeah, I knew I came in here with the healthy lead. I think as long as I scored qualifying points and points during the race, I would have came out on top there. So I think that was without the drop week. I'm not really sure, but I knew I had a healthy lead, which definitely.
Even with the drop week, four wins definitely doesn't hurt.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But that was your winner and champion, Cam Peterson. I am so sorry, I almost called you Penderson.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
But Michael, that really just kind of caps off this whole season, and just seeing. I don't really know how to really put this in the words, but obviously you see the efforts of Peterson, you see the efforts of Edmondson, you see the efforts of Drabkin, Ashlock. I mean, a lot of those guys who end up running up front and don't really get that much chance to shine. But I do also want to point almost a spotlight on the guys who run the back. I mean, Ambrosius, you got Burke, there's Golding, there's Green. There's a lot of these guys who are really great with battling, but just, hey, they're just getting to that next level. And we've definitely seen a lot of improvement from them over this course of this season.
Yeah, absolutely. They're improving. They're improving ever so much, and we're seeing them time in and time out get good finishes. So I'm glad and happy about that. And this was also very fun to do again. You know, I only got to do it the one other time, but you know, here I am now, and it was it's very, very fun.
What's the thing? I mean, I think Michael touched on it multiple times throughout this broadcast, and I think we've touched on it multiple times throughout the few broadcasts that we've done. But really, this series and any series is really as fun as you make it. And definitely seeing the kind of the culture here, and definitely seeing a lot of these guys run. And I've been seeing a lot of the fast guys kind of help a lot of the slower guys try and get better and trying to get a little bit more on their game. So that's definitely something to look at here.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I can't wait for the next season for these, and if I can be here, I'll be here to definitely to I'll be here definitely to call them if I can be. And sorry about that. And people. But yeah, I'll definitely be here to watch it. It was very fun, and you know, Matt, thank you for joining me in the booth here. This was very fun.
Always nice to be here.
Absolutely. Well, I guess thank you guys so much for joining us for some good Super Stadium trucks, Pro 4s, Pro 2s, doubleheader. Always fun to be up here, watch those guys go flying, especially the one that you said made Zach, who made Space Shuttle status there. So thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Matt, what's our next race for FRN?
Our next race for FRN would be what is tomorrow? Oh, right, tomorrow. Tomorrow is the RTG iRacing Dirt Series. We're going. I can't remember exactly what track off the top of my head, but we will be racing the big block modifieds as well as the pro late models, I believe. Let me see if I can go ahead and get that track for you. Yes, it looks. Nope, I wasn't smart and I didn't write it down. But we will be racing the iRacing, or we will be broadcasting the iRacing Dirt Series. I believe we should be coming up on championship battles here shortly.
Alrighty, well, this
Now,
is
also, I believe we're still live with RTG Talladega Challenge. If you guys want to move over there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Go join Seth and them as you see those cars race 3 wide around Talladega on.
Oh, you're gonna
NR
hurt Zach's
2003.
feeling. You're gonna hurt Zach's feelings.
All right, well, thank you guys so much for joining us here. This has been another production of FRN, and we'll see you guys next week.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of Flatout Racing Network and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of Flatout Racing Network and iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations. Flatout Racing Network would like to thank you for your support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast.